So if we're going to cold open, we are either in the studio or we are in the outside, just on the other side of the door that is not active.
Yeah, that was actually a couple you were giving me things to ponder, and as I was pondering them, I was wondering if because right now in time, because of the restore, the door doesn't actually work.
Yeah, it just leads to a red brick wall behind it.
What if the cold open takes place thousands of years in the future when it also doesn't work for a different reason, but the audience doesn't know that?
Oh,
And it's sort of like a ruin. There's like a fucking it's like fucking Narnia, and there's like a faun playing his little pan flute on this ruin of. I guess it's also sort of a Lorax thing.
so it's after the end.
Yeah, it's after the end. Yeah,
And it's the ruin of whatever building came after whatever building came after whatever building that was the studio.
yeah, but there's some sort of little thing left over that indicates that it is the remnants of the studio.
There's
Maybe,
an old burnt out no Hitler sign hanging above it.
Gregory House is giving disgruntled tours of it. It's a historical site.
He's back.
No, he's forward or whatever.
Yeah, okay, fine. Get technical. Okay, so we are in the perspective of our side of the door, but far in the future, and it's not active.
Oh, our side of the studio. Okay.
Well, yeah, if we're in the future, remember time is irrelevant in the outside.
Yeah.
So for time to really matter, it has to be on our side of the door.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, interesting.
But it's after the end, so it's in a ruin, and the only thing that's still in good condition is the door itself, but it's not functional.
Well, does that mean that means that if we're in on our side in the future, then that has none of the stuff we had planned has any relevance then. So I think maybe I want to scrap that because I liked the idea of messing around in the outside side. Can't somebody wants to go through but can't. I like the whole Hitler wants to come through from the outside side but can't because the door doesn't work.
Oh, I've got plans for him trying to get through once it does work.
Okay. So did the plans that you had kind of had arranged, would they work to sort of retrofit that onto the after the end in the ruins kind of thing?
Not particularly,
Okay.
but if you have something you'd like to explore with that, there's no reason we can't have a cold open in the future and then just be like, bam, present day. Either that, or
I
it can be set in the past when the door actually, before the reset when the door actually worked.
before the reset when the door actually worked. Yeah, if it's gonna be a cold open, I think I would like it to be as clean as possible. The whatever the cut is gonna be, I'd like the open itself to be self-contained as much as possible, and then cut away to now.
If we were gonna show the door operating in the past before the reset when it was still functional, it would be an opportunity to either show an existing cast member using it to travel into the studio or to leave. And how it would basically transition into the present day is a sort of a repetition of that same process, but it would be immediately stymied by the fact that when the door opens, there's nothing behind it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so if the cold open is in our side of the studio pre reset,
Yeah,
and then cuts to the outside now, and then cuts to now on the other side.
just it's just a quick little sequence to kind of show what the door can do, what it once did, and
Right.
then we immediately juxtapose it with what the door does now, which
Yeah,
is
show the
nothing.
state. Right, exactly. Not necessarily explaining why it's in that state,
No.
but just yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a flashback. Okay, that's good.
And also the boys are totally ignorant of its functionality. They're just to them it's a novelty. It's just like a cool door in the studio that doesn't go anywhere.
Right. Okay. So, do you recall then? Do you recall any particularly, or are you partial to any specific uses of the door at any time? I can't remember if we ever even worked in using the door in season one. It was there.
In for its very first showing, the door was actually just it was only being used as a time machine basically. But it in that same sketch where we introduced it, we invented the outside. But at first the outside wasn't like its whole dimension. It was really just like a little pocket of space in this like interdimensional place that was nothing more than a place for a lineup, a bus bench, a street lamp, and then the door to get into our place.
I like, if I recall correctly, the true origin of the outside was it was the place where people, certain types of people they were welcome to listen to our podcast, but they weren't allowed in.
Yeah, that was
That's
how it
the
started. You
outside.
have to listen from outside.
And it's become so much now.
Yeah.
It's the bread and butter of our whole operation.
But we had discussed having our studio actually function as sort of like a club, and
Right.
people would be coming into it from the outside. And I think there's still room for that, but that will have to wait until after the door gets activated.
Right.
So, of course, we have our little cold open where it
Oh,
shows
that's
the
really
flashback.
interesting. I don't know if the idea that you had for the door is the idea that I just had, but it's kind of funny that I think one of the most notorious clubs in the entire world is in Berlin, which is in Germany, which is associated with our friend. And so I
Yeah.
think it would be kind of funny if there was a bunch of like cyberpunk, like gutter punk, trance punk club partier Hitlers trying to get into the club
Oh
with
yeah,
sehr funny Akzents, ja.
I had ideas for like multiple iterations and versions of Hitler for sure.
We're dressed up like we're in that movie Hackers, ja.
They come in looking like they're right out of Tron.
Yeah.
But yeah, there. I definitely intended for there to be multiple incursion attempts by various Hitlers. It doesn't even have to be the same one trying to get in multiple times in different disguises. Each one can be a different instance of Hitler. But
Okay,
that
so
would be the origin of the no Hitler sign.
that's the origin of the no Hitler sign. So I'd like to nail down. So the no Hitler sign. What timeline does the no Hitler sign get created in?
Well, let's assume that it was already there. And after we start bouncing all these Hitlers out of there, we're like, so that's what the sign's for.
Oh, so the Hitler's trying to come through takes place in the now, the present of the season that we're creating.
Yes, after the door gets activated again and we start hosting historical figures in our studio, I assume actually that we're gonna try and host them for interviews for actual legitimate studio purposes.
Okay, so
But
that's
there's always the option to try and party.
is it then confusing if we start the episode with a flashback and then shortly within not too far of a sequence later have the same characters saying, I wonder what this door's for, even though we have a flashback showing them using it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that confusing?
Not if we properly kind of show it like in present day. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a flashback. It could be implied to be a flash forward.
Oh, I just had a good idea. Oh, Jesus, excuse me. That was not the idea.
Okay, good,
Um,
because that was a bad idea.
it's a bookending thing. So in episode 1, we started the episode with the God computer, an ambiguous reference to the God computer doing the restore. Now we start this episode with the God computer and the flashback being a scene loaded booting in the God computer. You're watching it through its monitor or whatever.
Oh, it's reviewing a file name. It was like
Yeah.
reviewing file or record something something.
Or it's like a corny reference and there's a YouTube overlay and it is we're watching a video of the God computer reacting to it. He's doing a reaction.
Do that shit again. But we're watching the maybe maybe it would we'll back it off one layer, and it's actually the God computer watching us react to something.
I was just thinking it's the God Computer's YouTube channel, and he's reacting to the video of us in the past. He's reacting to the memory,
The
the
God
flashback.
computer has a YouTube channel, and we watch it.
Yeah. Well, no, not us. Just I'm imagining that the overlay, the audience is watching the video. It's literally the video. The God Computer's YouTube video is the cold open.
I'm game. That's one way to introduce this.
And then there's it whites out, and then it, maybe yeah, the last shot of the flashback is of the door, and then it does a whiteout edit, and when the whiteout fades back in, it's present day, and
And
it's
it's
back
on the
on the
door,
door. Yeah,
and
and
that's
Tucker and
and
Duck
that's
go.
when somebody opens it and like, what's this even for?
Yeah,
Why do we
yeah,
have a
exactly.
door that goes nowhere in our studio? It was there
And
when we
what
got here.
same with that sign.
Yeah, but the sign is cool. I don't know what it means or what it's for, but it's cool. This door is useless.
It's like those Che Guevara shirts, which comes back later in the Rebel plot.
Okay, so now we're back in present day and we're huddled around this door. We're not sure what it does. That means we need to call a detective.
Oh, we know at least two.
Yes, and one of them can reactivate the door with a touch.
But we don't know that.
No, and I don't know if he knows that. It might be totally accidental.
That I think that would be a nice limitation for him to have. It's all well and good that we used all sorts of crazy horror magic to resurrect him from his sea can in the middle of a nightmare. But I think it's interesting that he's tethered to us by his bosses, and he's limited to this dimension. And one of the limitations of being stuck in this his like corporeal form is that he doesn't have all of his memories of his powers.
Yeah, he it's not super clear all the time what it is that he's capable of, and it's not even clear to him.
Right. He's like 11 basically.
Yeah, and sometimes his stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. So like there's no consistent record of his success when it comes to trying to do his mojo.
I just sipped my coffee way too loud. Did that make it onto the mic?
No, I
It
didn't
was
hear
really
any
loud.
sipping.
Schlock. It really slapped the back of my uvula.
I do not have any coffee, or I would have tried to mimic it. I just got rid of the last of it.
Got rid of it?
Yeah, down the hatch. Sipped it quietly. I didn't realize I could have been
Oh,
doing it noisily and made it into a talking point.
I just had. Is an ovis an egg or is that an ovum?
An ovus?
Ovis. It's not really bringing anything up.
Yeah, Google only brings up terrifying things.
Definition, define. No, not onus. Ovis.
I don't want to look at Google anymore. My advertisements are crazy enough.
Yeah, I'm not coming up with anything. Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought it would be kind of cool if we could do a last Ovis.
Yeah, I'm
And
afraid it's yeah, I'm afraid it's ovum and there is no ovus.
yeah, oh well. The last of them.
Not bad.
It's almost a thing.
He was the best of them.
Okie dokie.
Yes,
This
so we're gonna
thing.
call our favorite amateur detective.
Oh,
She happens to be nearby.
that's convenient.
Well, she's in the studio. She works with us. At the very least, she's available.
Is there any I hadn't thought of this before, but is there any chance that she also works the reception desk? But kind of like lackadaisically, she's sort of like Randall from Parks.
See, why not? Either that or oh, maybe she does, and she does it just like as Marge.
Oh, that's fun. That goes along with the playing roles and just kind of having, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, she really seems to be just like into LARPing all the time. So yeah, that would be her chosen receptionist personality.
Is the mic picking up my neighbor's vacuum?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe I should close the window. Whatever. If you're not thinking you're hearing it, then it will be something that can be click it out if I pick it up later. So we go grab our junior detective.
Yep, the straightest detective. She's gonna have to inspect the door.
Hmm.
Do you think
I'm
she
I'm
finds any clues, or is it just a door with a brick wall behind it?
I'm acting out her, like, pointing out the obvious kind of thing. I'm trying to imagine what she would say.
That's definitely a
Yes.
door.
A frame,
Hinges.
hinges. You've got a knob. Yep.
Gotta
Open
have a
and shut.
knob.
Open and shut case here.
I think that's an opportunity for her to pantomime that, where she opens the door and then closes it. Open and shut case here.
Oh, yeah, she might open and shut.
Goes nowhere. Yep. Open and shut case. I think we want a second opinion. This is not a satisfying answer. That's when straight detective is going to have to call on her detective friend.
Oh, is that what she said? Open and shut case, and we're like, so she says it's a door, and we say that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That won't do.
That's not enough. This will not do.
Up with this, I will not put.
And so that's when we go get Columbo. We need a second
Well,
opinion.
she's gonna go get Columbo. We haven't got to meet him yet.
Oh, that's interesting. She goes and grabs him. We said we want a second opinion. She kind of like begrudgingly is like, fine. She comes back a moment later. Can you please tell them this is a door?
I have a feeling that even just looking at it is gonna give Columbo some weird feelings. Like he knows, but he doesn't know.
Like one of those, I feel like we've met before.
Yeah, it's got that deja vu thing going on.
One door thing.
So he takes one look at it and kind of freezes. Ugh.
That's one door thing.
He's gonna get in close. He's gonna sniff it, give it a little taste. Yep.
And
Oh,
as he's getting like increasing levels of intimate with the door, the boys are leaning in closer and tension is building and finally he says, "Yep." Open. He turns around, open and shut case, and we're like, "Well, what is it?"
oh, I've got an idea.
Hmm.
When Columbo opens it to say open and shut case, it doesn't lead to a brick wall.
Oh, that's
It
interesting.
it just leads to a vortex, but he's not looking into it, so he's not aware of what he's showing. He's like, "Yep, like she said, open and shut case." He opens it and shuts it again, and they're like, "What the hell was that? Whoa!" And then they open it, and it's just a brick wall again.
I like that. Classic.
There was a thing. I swear, you kids are seeing things.
They push their straight detective. You do it. You try. She opens it. It's a brick wall.
Yeah.
They get Columbo to do it one more time, but he refuses, or they get him to do it one more time and it doesn't work.
Oh, maybe they get him to do it one more time, and this time the vortex sucks him through it.
Is that what we're working towards? Is that what we want?
Well, we want it to open up to the outside so that we can finally get this show on the road and start doing something that actually warrants having some bouncers. If he gets sucked through, we might have to follow him.
Oh! Forget it. We just jumped to the other side where the bouncer's like, "Did you see that?" Like
Oh,
it
are there
opened
are
for a
there are
second.
there bouncers there already?
Yeah, the bouncers are just always there. That's their job.
Well, then that means that they've been hanging out waiting, because I think I wrote in here somewhere that they work for Columbo. So he falls through, dusts himself off, and they're like, "Hey, boss, what the
Oh,
hell?"
does he get sucked through? So, but what? What was our response to that then? We just met this guy and he gets sucked into our random door. That's
Well,
extremely.
that means he's going to get sucked into the vortex in the door, and then Straight Detective is going to go after him,
Oh, okay. Was this
and
part
we're
of
going
the
to have to
plan?
go after Straight Detective.
Oh, I
This
didn't
was
know. I didn't
never
know.
this was never part of the plan, but now we're improving.
I guess we did. So I guess okay. This is cool. I'm just realizing that this is the intended end of season one. So it's okay for us to reintroduce the outside. I guess because it's coming back next season.
Yes, and like I thought you wanted to play around with the outside.
Well,
At
I
the very
thought,
least, we need to get to the little lineup stop outside this door.
yeah, I thought genuinely that we were going to do a cold open of like a couple minutes scene in the outside with just sort of referring to what it was, and then move on from it entirely with not quite really referring to it, because I thought we'd set a precedent for the season. But I'm happy to go ahead and off into it.
Well, this is how we get our Hitlers.
Okay, let's go get our Hitlers.
All right, so it works like this. Columbo will insist there's nothing behind this door, fellas, and then he'll open it up, and then very quickly gets sucked into the vortex. Because now he's eaten his words. And of course, Straight Detective is alarmed by this, and she's courageous in every way that we're not, so she immediately goes in after him because Columbo is her idol now.
Right.
Especially after her last idol, a couple of sketches ago, really badly disappointed her in Siberia.
She's his Robin.
Yeah, pretty much. So she Robins after him,
Yep.
and we're like, wait a minute, who's gonna make us lunch? So we go after her.
That's interesting.
Maybe there's a moment where we kind of stay behind, like, I'm not going in there. Are you going in there?
And also, I wonder if we should work in a line somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the in between, where we make a reference like we'll only do something if she agrees to make us lunch. And then her disappearing through the door is like, hey, she promised she was going to make us lunch.
Oh yeah, interesting. I wonder. Well, I wonder where we would fit that in. Somewhere after our cold open.
Well, maybe the only reason she agreed to come investigate the door was because we said that we would do something, and then when at some point we have the ante. I don't know. This can be fraught over later.
We're extorting her for lunch.
Yeah.
Simple as. And now she's been sucked through a vortex. Who's gonna make us lunch? I guess we
I
better
like
go after her.
that we've progressed from breakfast to lunch.
Yeah. Well, clearly breakfast isn't working out for us as a pursuit, so now we get up at noon and we just have lunch.
I like that. Yeah, we've just breakfast is a lost cause.
Yeah.
We gave up on breakfast.
It's failed us too many times, so now we just get up at noon and have lunch. But we won't have lunch if we don't go after her, so hell.
That's right. So through the door we go.
And then we roll, we get spit out the door on the other side, we go flop, fall down.
Or is it? I'm sorry. Is it funnier if we go after them, but we open the door and it's just a brick wall? And we're like, God damn it!
Okay,
And then
okay,
it
so
cut.
the door closes behind Straight Detective.
Yeah,
And then we go to open it and it's just a brick wall and we both run into it.
yeah.
Because it's funniest if we go charging in. We have to hype ourselves up a little. Be like, we could do it, yeah! And so we get ourselves amped up, and then we open it and we charge without waiting, and we
Oh,
run into the brick wall.
that is good. If we spend a little time giving each other like a little pep talk.
Yeah, so that we're no longer rational about this and no longer acting with caution.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then now we've been brick walled.
And then it can cut to Columbo and Straight Woman
Yeah,
in the outside on their
I
own.
guess we don't get to go.
No. Well, we've got other shit to do. We've got sketches to write. Well, I guess we've got work to do as our tummies
I've
rumble.
I've actually got a plan for what we'll go and do while they're in the outside den.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because
Did
guess what? Rebels is what's playing at the movie theater.
did our it's at the movie theater. That's fun.
Yeah, and I've got yes, this will be the one time where we don't actually where we actually show ourselves going to the theater instead of like cutting away and revealing that we're watching.
Okay.
But that we can discuss that in a bit. We're still in the time machine bouncers.
The theater is
We can
literally a block away.
Yeah. There's even a poster outside for None Taken too.
Well, of course. And Bewitched now. That's going to be
Yeah.
there.
All right, so we can now. The boys have slammed into the wall. They're falling down. They've probably got Tweety birds around their heads, and they're I don't know, missing teeth, got black eyes and stuff. They can now fade to black because they have a concussion and their consciousness is fading away, which allows us to transition to Straight Detective and Columbo, who just went for a tumble out that door.
Did Straight Detective go for a tumble, but Columbo is like suavely like lands smoothly on the other side? That old
Oh,
chestnut.
I like that. Either that or it goes the other way around.
Oh, and he goes, "I'm a little rusty."
Yeah, whereas Straight Detective just like land, like, she just goes smoothly because she's just relaxed. She's a smooth operator.
I like that.
Oh, she also, since she's in her Straight Detective persona, that means she's gonna be like randomly monologuing. So she probably monologues before she goes through the door, and she's definitely going to monologue after the bouncers pick up and dust off Columbo.
I kind of like that, and they could have a moment. I'm enjoying opportunities to kind of do some like character and relationship development between the two of them, and kind of with him as a mentor, but her also is obviously kind of capable. If she, um, what's the word? If she monologues here and mentions that he fell down as the bouncers help him up, if he kind of says that's all you can do, that self talk psycho babble jibber jabber is all you want, as long as you don't mention to any of my pals that I fell down or something like that, like kind of like acknowledges that what she does is weird, but says that it's okay as long as she doesn't go with like embarrassing him.
It probably is not that weird to him.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he's I mean, we were just in a black ocean full of eyeballs.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, his bar for what is weird is untouchable for the rest of us. But he will definitely remark that she better not tell anybody that he fell down. And the bouncers will probably be mildly confused by the fact that she's monologuing, which is Columbo's opportunity to wave it
He
off.
does the wave off. I love that recurring thing.
Yeah, so it kept occurring where the last person that got monologue to would be the one to wave it off to the next person.
Yeah, that I it's it reminds me each time. It's not exactly the same thing, but it reminds me of at SATE one time. One of my instructors got sick of people deciding it was okay to be like a couple minutes late, and so he instructed us as we as people appeared late, the person before who had appeared late was to like give them the monologue that he had instructed us all to give about like how it was unacceptable to be late anymore. And so we each had to like reprimand each other, as like I was late, so I had to reprimand the next person, and then that person had to reprimand the next person. And it just kind of reminded me.
That's like a double punishment.
Yeah, it really sucked. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and then you're responsible for punishing the next person. That's you
Yeah,
being
you're
just
sitting there
punished
being an
again.
asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, you're being punished by punishing somebody else. That's
it,
always been shit detail was
it's brutal.
punishment duty. But yes, it gets passed along in that same sort of way. And so Columbo dusts himself off and he takes a look at the bouncers. Who the hell are you guys? Well, we work for you.
Yeah, we're with you.
Huh?
We work for you.
Oh, maybe are they kind of dim and they only have like a few programmed responses?
I don't know. That's not.
Do they have NPC energy or are we going to give them personalities?
Well, so are these guys? They work for him. Are they part of what is it? The Irish Inquisition? No, that's the Liam Neeson thing. That's a different thing.
Yeah, once upon a time the bouncers were going to be our Fargo cops.
Were they?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. Okay, well, so who are these guys? Did we say that they do work for Columbo, but he doesn't remember? That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, his memory has a few gaps in it.
But
Nothing in
they're
because nothing in the outside has changed. So
no.
everybody who was there before is still there.
And so are these guys native creatures to the outside? Are these guys eldritch whatever mystery things?
They
Or are
are
they just guys?
probably in the appearance of just being guys at least. What they actually are might be left up to everyone's imagination.
That's interesting.
But they probably look like they came out of the Beetlejuice film.
Like they look like Tim Burton things.
If they ever show their real faces.
Okay.
Oh, there are no easy to find gifs of it.
Are they like from the waiting room in the nightmare place in Beetlejuice? Is that what you're
I
referring?
was thinking that if he showed his true face, it'd be like Alec Baldwin stretching his mouth out.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay.
which maybe only happens when they sneeze or something. They just kind of lose their concentration for a moment and they wig out.
I like that too. But they're there as bouncers. Are they dressed like bouncers? That like because I've been kind of imagining guys that look like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, I think they look exactly the part. They're there bouncing the door,
Yeah,
which hasn't been active in an indeterminate amount of time. In the outside, it doesn't really matter. So from the side that they're on, it's all whatever. It's Tuesday.
that's interesting. So as they help Helmut to his feet, they ask him, "So does this mean we're back in business?" And he's like, "What?"
Interesting. Is that going to be an exposition dump where they tell Columbo what they've been doing here for the club? You know what club? The club.
I like how they sound like Barney Rubble.
That's what bouncers sound like to me in my head. They all sound like Barney Rubble.
For the club. I like how
The
they
club, Fred.
or they sound like Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Oh.
In 2022, would people call that ableist? We're doing like a
Ah.
I'm a dumb guy voice.
They would probably call that some flavor of insensitive.
Yeah, but it's so funny.
It is, and there was nothing funny about what happened to Lenny.
Nope. Or his mouse.
Or his rabbit, or that lady, or you know what? Nobody has a good time in that book.
It's tragic.
Yeah, it's an American tragedy.
Okay, but in this tale, which is not a tragedy.
No, we've got a couple of just dumb Barney Rubbles that look like Johnny Bravo. In fact, they're probably twins.
Oh, of course.
They're perfect duplicates of each other.
They're gonna have crazy skull-clad snake boots like the twins from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah, sure. These twins, I think, probably mirror each other.
Well, that'll be easy to animate.
Yeah, so instead of being perfectly identical, they are the same in the sense that they are mirror duplicates, but they
Yeah.
are opposite in the same way that reflections would be.
And I mean, so I don't know if they need to be doing a huge exposition dump, but do they need to at least describe a problem that they've been having?
What problem have they been having?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how Hitler is going to be coming in. Has Hitler been a recurring problem, or Hitler is going to show up now?
Hitler's going to show up once the club gets opened up, or at least once the door is actively flowing both ways again.
And is that something that we're working on doing with this?
Yes, Columbo's going to have to come back through eventually. In fact, this might be the kind of bit that actually winds up being a two-parter where we have to do the intro sequence to it, and then Tucker and Todd have to go to the movies. And then when Tucker and Todd come back, they find out that the studio is now a fucking party house.
Oh, okay.
Because
Like
upon their return, the club music is playing and all the lights are on, and
a
they enter.
two-parter within the same episode. It's like it's
Yeah,
just a bookend bit.
yeah. So like Tucker and Todd are now. Yeah, we wrap up the scene with Straight Detective and Columbo on the outside talking to their bouncers, and then we can transition to Tucker and Todd still staring in confusion at this brick wall. They open and close the door several times, just like, why won't it turn on?
Oh,
And
they're
then
trying to repeat like open and shut case.
yeah, they're
Open and
come
shut
on.
case.
This works when the other guy does it. We said the magic words.
You
And
try it.
so
No, I
yeah.
don't want to say it again.
We've done this 100 times. Can we please just go? Fine. Let's get out of here. We're bored, so we're gonna go to the movies.
Well, no, we're hungry, and I have coupons from Christmas. We can get free popcorn with our movie.
Ooh.
I've been so poor that has been a solution to eat before.
It was always just a jar of peanut butter.
There was a whole month in 2017 that I was just going to the movie. I was going to the movies off of birthday and Christmas coupons, living off of nachos and popcorn.
The world is horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us see. So we cut away. Should they at least describe that the club needs to get up and running again,
Yeah,
or are they
yeah.
just standing there?
That's. I mean, for the bouncers, it hasn't been like a particularly long period of time, but they are wondering if Columbo's going to get the club open again. And so that's Columbo's opportunity to say, "What club?" And he's like, "The one through that door."
Oh, yeah. Are you here to open the club?
And then Columbo can be like, "That door, huh?" And then the focus can shift back to the door and focus on it, stay on it, zoom in a little, and then it can zoom back out, and now it's Tucker and Todd staring at the door from the other side.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we can go from there. Now they're on their way to the movies to eat popcorn and I guess watch a film.
And
Maybe
the film that they're going to watch
is the
is
Rebels.
Star Wars.
Yes, the film is. I think I wrote in here. It's just called The Rebellion.
Yeah, I don't recall ever coming up with a name for it.
Yeah, it's
But I
it's
remember
it's a critique on the Brexit.
it was based on a conversation with your friend who was from the
He's
UK.
from England.
Yeah.
Yes, and the joke was that Britain are the rebels this time instead of the Empire. That in fact the European Union are the Empire.
Now, I swear to God, I know we were just talking about it in the Discord chat. I swear to God that there was something that occurred that we said, hey, this is a thing that we could toss in to update that Star Wars thing. Did it have anything to do with the royal family? Imperialism? Were we going to link anti-imperialism to the royal family? God damn it, I wish I knew. I feel like it was good. There was one of those things that I was excited to go back and do this remastering process for.
I'm afraid I don't recall.
Maybe I'll recall if we go through the plot. I do remember the plot was they were like crust punks wearing Che Guevara shirts, and Christopher Lee was the leader of this utopian European Union.
Yes, and in fact, I've decided that Christopher Lee will remain British, but
Right.
he is a loyalist to the Empire, which in this
Okay.
case is not actually the British Empire, but is in fact the European Union.
The European Empire. The
Yeah.
The E.
The E. So
You know that
Admiral
I must remain loyal to the E.
Admiral Dad is basically what we had
I
called him.
I do like Admiral Dad. That makes me laugh.
That means the princess is his sassy daughter, and she's the leader of the rebel faction,
Yeah.
which is the UK.
Did we have any notable characters who could be standing in as this rebel person from our universe or from reality? Rebel people?
Yeah, I don't know who would be a good princess. Christopher Lee is the greatest Admiral Dad I could think of.
Yes. I know that at the time we had been loosely throwing around ideas of like what is now Queen Bey. And I think we had maybe talked about some sort of like TikTok princess.
Oh, interesting. So,
Oh.
could our sassy rebel princess be a TikTok influencer?
Yeah, TikTok influencer. I'm just wondering now, I'm mulling it through my mind. Is this somewhere that we could bring in that deep learning AI teenage girl thing? I feel like that's too complex for this. That muddles it. This is a middle sketch, and
Yes, and it's also we're not going to get to watch the entire movie
right.
because it turns out that Tucker talks at the theater. And so Tucker is heckling the film and
There you go.
eventually the boys are going to be ejected.
I would like in the future if Tucker starts a conversation mid anecdote, and that's why I'm not allowed at the theater, blah blah blah, on Tuesdays or whatever.
And that's why I'm not allowed at the matinee
Yeah.
ever again. So yes, we've got Admiral Dad. He's a proud British man, but he also happens to be a supporter of the EE, and he has chosen against the wishes of his rebel nation to remain in the service of the EE. So we're
Oh,
doing Star Wars and Brexit, and of course, since it's a socialist utopia, the European Empire is actually the good guys, and the rebels are not the morally superior underdog. They're the bad guys. So just like real life.
I just was reminded something, and I'm just looking into it. I'm minutely, faintly aware of a trend or a phrase that trends on TikTok and Instagram, which is that girl. Have you heard people refer to themselves as that girl? I'm that girl. How to tell that you're that girl?
No, but I think I understand it.
Um, who is that girl? That girl isn't just healthy. She's professionally successful and looks her best at every moment. She wakes up every morning. Oh, that's not quite. It's like yoga girls. So it's not quite the same thing. But I thought it would have been really fucking cool if we could have just called this girl that girl, Princess that girl.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with Princess That Girl because we have a brief exchange that we discussed where the princess calls the admiral just dad in a sassy voice, and he says, "That's Admiral Dad to you," and then she gets to say, "That's Princess That Girl to you." You know, a proper sassy exchange that goes all the way around. "Very well, Princess That Girl. Get off my ship. Go back to your rebels."
I'm trying to map out a more complex version of it. That's Admiral Dad to you, girl. That's that girl to you, Dad. That's that girl. That's what, Dad.
Now it's just who's on first.
It is.
If we continue this way, we are barreling towards a misunderstanding, Princess.
Thank you. All right.
It's Princess That Girl. Fine, just get off my ship. And it turns out that's how she successfully browbeats the European Empire into just allowing the Brexit. Except we can probably, leave some reference for a part two where the entire, Brexit is left in like endless quagmire.
Oh, I like that. The Empire Strikes Back. We do a long yellow text scroll of exposition, and then it's like a 5 frame scene of the planet being blown up by the Empire, or the rebels being blown up by the Empire, and then it just rolls credits.
Well, see, the Empire are peaceful and they're the good guys, but one
Mm,
thing that
I
Brexit
forgot
has
about that
definitely
detail.
done, is really loudly demonstrate a level of disharmony and a lack of unity to, you know, less scrupulous leaders like, Puddin.
Yeah.
So obviously the sequel is like Puddin's Revenge or something.
Oh, that's true. That's interesting.
Yeah, especially because in the sequel to Brexit, turns out Brexit is still just kind of dragging its ass. It's barely happening. It's going nowhere, and then Putin strikes.
Wooden strikes.
Yeah, and then the rebels finally decide that they don't like pudding after all because they love pudding over in Britain. Not anymore.
Oh yeah, I guess I understand. All different types of puddings.
Yes, sweet and savory puddings.
Oh, does the movie just turn into it breaks down into a weird, like banal discussion of different puddings, and that's when it cuts to Tucker and Tucker being like, "Okay, we got to get out of here."
So we're not. That's not even going to be in the sequel. They're going to break down and start discussing pudding. Just if we need something to heckle, could just be as simple
Oh,
as
right,
them
I forgot
starting
that.
to.
Yeah, I forgot about that detail.
Could be as simple as them starting to discuss just like the greater political ramifications of extracting a major nation from a union and how it
Well, because
sort of destabilizes the entire thing from the top down.
that's the heckling that you were imagining.
I imagine the heckling begins with Tucker being like, how dare they trick me into educational programming?"
Oh, what's the movie called? What did we think it was going to be?
Well, I think it's just called The Rebellion, and we were going looking for like an action adventure. And it
Oh,
starts out seemingly action and adventure, but eventually it just becomes like a political drama.
but because they're sort
Because
of
the European Empire is peaceful, so everything is done diplomatically.
if the font if it's like because they're sort of like crust punky, it's not exactly the same thing, but if it's called the rebels and the font is like the warriors.
Yeah, that'll give us the wrong idea going in.
Yeah,
Hey, look at this. Look at this poster. That looks kind of
this was
fighty.
badass. Yeah.
Back before you could really easily just YouTube a movie trailer and get an idea what it is.
Right.
So if you go to the theater and you just base your choice off of which poster looks the coolest. Oh man, None Taken 2 is sold out. I guess we'll have to pick something else.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was a poster gag of like seen it, seen it, seen it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Seen it, seen it. Hey, None Taken 2. Sold
We'll
out.
take 2 tickets to None Taken 2, please. That's sold out.
Shit. And then we
Were we
immediately resume our little march along the posters. Seen it. No. Romantic.
is it the dumb thing where Todd was trying to say, "Hey, I want to see that Rebels movie," and Tucker says, "No, that looks stupid. Let's see this None Taken 2." And then we get there and it's sold out, and they say the only one that we have tickets left for is the Rebels.
Let's do everything that you want to do.
That old chestnut.
Except if the movie poster looks cool enough, Tucker will be into it.
Yeah, of course.
Be like, yeah, you
Oh
know what? That
man.
poster looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and that part is important for you being the one who's like, "Hey,
Yeah, I thought this was going to be actiony, but it's just people talking.
this is like that face movie from last week."
This is even worse than that Face movie from last week because at least somebody got shot in that one.
yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
This is
Okay.
a lie.
We got 45 minutes. Let's do our headliner.
All right, so yes, Tucker heckles and gets ejected. Gets them both ejected, so they wander forlornly back to the studio. The place is bouncing. There's a party going on. They're like, "What the hell is happening here?" They wander in. Straight Detective is dancing with Abe Lincoln.
The Abe Lincoln?
Historical figures are coming in through that door.
Oh, okay, that's fun. Got all
Yeah,
sorts of
the door is open. The vortex
Leonardo da
bit,
Vinci.
yeah, the vortex bit is like not there. It's literally a straight shot directly to that outside. We can see the street lamp, we can see the bus bench, we see the stanchions, and we see a lineup of historical figures. One of them is being allowed in by the bouncers, and it's Hitler.
Do we have an immediate reaction to that of like, hey, 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 hey? Or do we have an interaction with him? We don't know who he is, and then we have an interaction with him that we're like, this guy stinks.
Yeah, I have a feeling that somebody is going to have to detect that this is some kind of breach, but I don't think it'll be us. I don't think we're quite clever enough.
Would that be one of our robots?
Oh. Yeah, I
Is that
suppose
a breach that
somebody
Gigi might detect?
yeah, we've got the bouncers outside. We've got to have somebody bouncing inside, just generally keeping an eye on stuff. And I think if anybody's got like a weird facial recognition scanner going on, it'll be Craig and Gigi.
Does Craig come over and try to get our attention? He's like tapping us on the shoulder, say, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I really was talking to you," but he can't get our attention. And then Gigi turns around and scares the shit out of us.
All right, is Craig still in his cardboard box computer body now that we gave him one last episode?
That is what we did last episode.
Yeah, that would explain why he needs somebody else's help to do anything about this.
Yeah, he's
he
flimsy.
doesn't have any arms. He doesn't have his cool tank treads.
No, he's just got flaps.
Yeah, he's just kind of makes like a weird kind of fuzzy floating noise. Like he sounds like one of those one of those robots off the Jetsons.
Okay, so how does that work then? Now that he is, how did I say that GG worked? It was
Well,
just a color change.
yeah, something like that. But what one of them has a facial recognition thing. It trips an alarm.
Okay, that's good.
Trips an
It's a
alarm and then
dumb sounding
causes.
alarm.
Yeah, it's a dumb sounding alarm. It's like ear
No,
ear
no,
ear.
wait, no, it's a mooing sound effect. We're like, what the fuck is that? And Craig says, I don't know. Straight woman said it, or straight detective said it.
Oh, she's pining for
She-
Miranda. That's an opportunity for her to just have like a wistful, forlorn look.
I
But then
enjoy that. I like the club is in party mode, and then all of a sudden, moo, moo, and everybody stops and like is like looking
it
around,
is
going like,
alarm.
what the hell is
What is this?
that?
That is the worst alarm. Boo.
Oh,
All right.
is it more like is it that moo moo?
Oh, that one. Moo, moo.
Oreo, Oreo.
I love Oreos. Okay, yeah. So the alarm goes off. Spotlight. Yeah, music stops. A spotlight comes directly down on Hitler, and that's when Columbo gets to step in. Since in our universe, Hitler's like really small and unintimidating. He's kind of like South Park's Saddam.
Yeah.
He's just a small, whiny little bastard. So Columbo has no trouble just like ejecting him. He like drop kicks him in a very similar way to how Tim Curry once did.
Because he's like sneaking in. Is he dressed as a historical figure? As I mean, technically, as we've done before.
Yes, he is dressed as either that or
He's
he
dressed
is
as Abe
dressed as
Lincoln.
you described, and he's in uh like a
Oh, club
cyberpunk
attire.
looking club attire,
Yeah, I do
which
like
it
that.
still counts as a disguise.
The orange fishnet shirt.
Oh yeah, with full sleeves,
Yeah,
and he's got like a necklace made out of glow sticks.
he's got like spiky bleached hair.
Yeah. Oh god, I hate him. Like I mean, I already hated him, but now I hate Hitler even more because we've given him a grotesque aesthetic. So yes, he trips the alarm, the moo alarm. He gets
I'm here.
drop kicked out the door.
I'm here to eradicate the groove.
Oh wow! Watch this move. I call it the final solution. And then he tries to bust a move and gets drop kicked right out the door. And so he goes into a tumbling somersault, flying off into the infinity of the outside.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, there's nothing to
Everybody
stop his
cheers.
travel. Yeah, they all cheer, and then somebody probably like pats the no Hitler sign, and then gives like a bit of a warning to the bouncers outside. And that's the opportunity for us to get a headache from listening to this mooing alarm. And then the music starts up again, and we're like, this is pounding too loud. So we're actually gonna go upstairs to our studio, and we're gonna actually go do some work without being told to because this is actually not our scene.
I like that.
So we're actually retreating. For once, our work is an escape. We're being
Do we
driven
do
away from the fun towards our little study.
do we make any kind of like self-referential reference to that of like, hey, we're doing work to escape life or whatever, to escape fun, escape the party.
Don't think about it too hard, Todd. I don't.
That's I
Yeah,
overthink shit.
I know you don't, Tucker. You never think about anything. If you did, we'd still be watching the Rebels. Whatever. At
But we're
least it
not.
wouldn't
So
take
we're
away our
gonna
popcorn.
we're gonna go write. What are we
Yes, we're
writing?
gonna
The
go work on a
noisemaker.
sketch. We're gonna go write the noisemaker, which I think is pretty appropriate because that's what we're escaping is some noise.
Oh, that's interesting. Hey, you know what this reminds me of? We were gonna do a sketch called. Hmm, there's a better way to do that, but it is interesting. They link together.
All this, all the noise, noise, noise. Very Grinch.
The noise.
Yeah, that's an opportunity for a Grinch scene to be like, hey, hey, I think we have some. Hang on, that reminds me. And then it's time to go into the note pile. Yeah, I thought so. We have something for this. The hell is this noisemaker?
Oh, I thought at first I thought you said that you were saying like a mail pile.
No, we got a pile of just like loose, discarded, half finished notes all over the place in the study. Anytime we need to find a bit, it's just like our list of premises, basically.
So does that mean then we transition directly from writing like, hey, let's write this thing into now it's in the scene?
Yeah, basically we'll do our little dream fade in transition
Yeah.
where it's like, hey, I look just like I thought. We've got this here, the noisemaker. Hey, let me see that. Let's see. 3 men in a tub, and then transition, and then there we go. There's 3 men in a tub, and there's one standing on the side he can't fit.
I like that. The voiceover 3 men in a tub and then it fades in on 3 men in a tub and then the voiceover saying technically it was four, but the other guy was like, Pete Best.
Yeah, he couldn't fit. And that's an opportunity for the camera to zoom out slightly to show that there is in fact a fourth guy
Yeah,
standing off to the
just
side.
outside the frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Technically
you
there
ever
was
hear
a
about
fourth guy. Here.
Rub a Dub Dub?
Fourth guy? I thought it was 3 men in a tub. Yeah, well, nobody ever talks about the fourth man. And yeah, from there we transition into the scene.
Okay, so I want to, yeah, the scene. You said what was all of this about an MLM? Because I feel like that could be co-opted into many things that we've done.
Oh, well, during our original discussion of the noisemaker, one of the things that the noisemaker, who is a Z list celebrity, basically he's even less famous than Kathy Griffin before she chopped off Trump's head, is that while not only is he spending all of his time like kind of just barely keeping his head above water, but never being able to attain the success of the big three, the butcher, baker, and candlestick maker, the three guys in the tub. One thing he does get into is an MLM as their celebrity spokesperson
Right. And
because
so
he's the best that this shitty little MLM can afford, and they're the best that he can do.
and we came up with the noisemaker sketch before we had done any of the big world building in which we had started establishing corporations and companies in our world.
That's correct.
Um, do you, as you were putting your notes together, do you think that this MLM that he worked for was actually one of the like I'm thinking like Fantasology when you say it, since he's a Z-list celebrity?
Oh, it definitely could be. In which case, we're gonna remove Stan from it.
Remove Stan from it?
Yeah, one of the things we had discussed was that Stan would be involved in this MLM.
Okay.
But if we're gonna make it a Fantasology one, I think we should keep Stan away from that.
What's the current state of Stan again? Last he was he not
Stan
he was
is,
eating
Stan is
donuts?
alive. He's alive. Uh,
He
I
was
don't
hanging out with
believe he.
Columbo or no?
Yeah, he was hanging out with Columbo. I don't believe he joined us last week to hang out in the timelines that were getting torn up.
Right.
Yeah, I don't believe he joined us, so he's off doing whatever. Maybe he is doing currently, voice marketing, calling people up and bothering them to buy some of his volume because he's garage certified.
Buy some of his volume because he's garage certified? That I
Yes,
totally missed. What does that mean?
that is some MLM jargon.
Oh, okay.
If you're garage certified, that means your garage is full of shit from the MLM that you have
Oh, I get
unsuccessfully
it.
sold, and
Yeah,
that's called that stuff that you want to sell is called volume.
that's your volume. I get it.
Yeah. So your volume is in the case of trying to move it, that would be the amount that you move each month, and you have volume quotas. And so you purchase some of this stuff from the MLM because they don't pay attention to how much you sell, they pay attention to how much you buy. So if you keep your volume up, then you keep your membership in the MLM higher. And then the onus is on you to try and then sell that volume, thus garage certified. You've got a garage full of shit you bought from them to keep your space in the MLM.
Right. So in your extensive note making, did a lot of the notes that you make have to do with how Stan was involved? Because I don't want to
No,
run away. Oh, okay.
no. All he got was a mention.
Okay. Well, if he just got a mention, then he can have just a little cameo.
Yeah. In fact, he doesn't even have to be on screen. He can just be a voice.
What
We
would
can
yeah,
just show who he's calling.
what even was his role? What was he kind of like the one that got us all involved or whatever?
I think he was just a distributor, but none of the rest of us were involved. It was all just our noisemaker, and then Stan
Oh,
was just a cameo.
okay, okay, okay.
But most of my notes actually focus on his status as a Z-list celebrity.
Well, then I guess if we're doing the thing where we're popping in and out of perspectives of being in the writing room and then being in the sketch, that could be a part where we pull out and go, "Hey, we could this is a spot we could wouldn't it be fine if we stick Stan in a cameo or something like that? Make a reference to it. We stick him in a cameo."
Do we know Stan is alive? I mean, we know we have a bear that's named Stan.
Hmm.
Could we can anthropomorphize him without knowing that he's actually alive?
I mean, that could pay off as a cool like you were alive the whole time.
We got the voice just right. But if we do pull away, I think what we would do would say like, why don't we give what's he doing? Why don't we give him something to do besides just MTV interviews about his book?
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of what he's up to as a Z-list celebrity who's riding on the coattails of those three titans.
The noisemaker guy. So he wrote a book
Yes,
about
he wrote a book, The
their story.
Untold Stories, What You Don't Know About the Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. Because they were all in a thing once upon a time, all of them together in their youth. Whereas those three took off, this guy never actually managed to get any level of success. So he doesn't even have like BoJack Horseman status, where he's a has been. He's a never been.
And we didn't give him any sort of parody identity.
He's the fifth Beatle, the fourth Musketeer. That was all he got.
Yeah,
He's the noisemaker.
I'm just trying. The noisemaker is such a convenient name to stick with somebody if you were going to be like lampooning somebody who goes around making a whole bunch of noise.
Well, that's that's probably why I put Kathy Griffin's name in here somewhere, because that's mostly all she does. But she does a lot of that, the untold stories of how people actually interact in Hollywood and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially Cher. I'm Cher, bitch.
Yeah, I guess if we're doing like the Z list thing too.
But that is he's got his book, so he's still got like his tiny, tiny, tiny level of success and fame,
Yeah,
almost all of which he has just because he once brushed shoulders with these people who have gone on to become absolute titans. But he holds on just enough that he doesn't completely disappear into obscurity. He is Z-list. He's still a celebrity. But he lucks into a celebrity spokesperson position for the shittiest MLM in history. If it's fantasology, I'm okay with that. But what are they selling in their MLM? Are
well,
we
I
going to
mean,
go full Scientology with it? And what they're selling is basically just spirit readings.
well, is this actually building to anything?
It might not. That'll depend on how Tucker and Todd feel about it once they get writing it a while. Because if they feel like it's not going anywhere, they can actually just put it down and go back to the party. But we did include a section where the noisemaker gets an opportunity to invest in YouTube when it's a fledgling enterprise,
Right.
but he doesn't trust the internet. So once again, he squanders opportunity. And I think we discussed that like more and more he turns like gray, whereas the world around him stays in color and continues to progress without him. It had a downer ending.
That is a downer ending.
Yeah, the noisemaker just kind of stagnates and drifts into obscurity until eventually he's completely trapped in the past.
Okay, I need to make some notes so I can visualize because this isn't not connecting in my brain. Give
Well,
me just a minute.
how about he gets so trapped in the past that he winds up coming through the door into the party.
Oh, that's interesting. If he gets so trapped in the past, and then okay,
He
okay,
somehow winks into existence in the outside.
I still need to take notes. So give me a moment. I'm putting that at the top. Okay, so we've got this with beetle is working for Emma.
We can also detail what particular thing the noisemaker and the other three actually did that made three of them famous and left one of them behind. Some kind of show.
Um,
We never really detailed what it was, besides maybe a sitcom.
which yeah, I'm trying to I like the coming through the door thing because then that if he came through the door, that means something weird happens, and that means he has a problem that he's trying to solve. He got so trapped in the past because this feels sort of like it feels sort of like a Dirk Gently sort of thing
Ooh,
where right
I do love Dirk Gently.
where this guy in the past had some fame and then in the future he spends so much time thinking about his past that he ends up there and then comes through a portal from the past and
Even
I
more
guess
interestingly is he's a figment of our imagination, and now he's just walked into our studio.
but I mean that in itself sets us up nicely for the beginning of season 2
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to do something a little bit epic and tie things together a little bit with this sketch. I want to tap into the big vein of Tucker and Todd and what it is and kind of hint at the epicness that's going to come next season. So I like the idea that maybe we don't even understand that we've done it, but we start to catch a glimpse at kind of like our powers and our connection to whatever is on the other side of that door.
That gives us sort of a crossroads. We have two options. Either we are somehow coming up with stories that actually correlate to real world events that we're unaware of, which would be like psychic stuff. That's Dirk Gently level.
Hmm.
Or we're thinking these things into being. Like what we write becomes real in the outside, which is also a Dirk Gently thing. So I guess both paths lead to Dirk Gently, but in a different way. Are we cosmically aware of events occurring elsewhere and writing them down? Or are we writing stuff down and those things are then becoming real?
I mean, obviously both.
Ooh. How do we do both? I want to know.
Okay, what is the first option? We have some sort of intuition which allows
Yeah,
us.
first option is the stuff we think we're just making up is something that's actually occurred either in real world in the past or maybe like in an alternate reality so that we're not actually guilty of just like ripping off real world events in universe.
And I mean, here's the thing: some things that we describe in our notes and speak into existence, we aren't aware of, and we are only have access to the notes because of our past that we're not aware of, in which we had access to the outside, and those things exist in the outside, even though we're not aware of them. We
Oh,
speak
that's
them
that
into.
I guess that's almost like a third option.
Yeah,
Is we've left all these notes for ourselves based on information that no longer exists in a sense.
I think in different sorts of situations, it can be one or the
Yes.
other.
Yes, I think you're right. The answer is all of the above and it'll
Yeah,
just be case by case as to which one it is.
right.
In this case, maybe we have thought him into being. The ending is just so profoundly downer and grim to us, especially to us because we're not even Z-list celebrities. These poor guys.
Yeah.
So if things are that bad for him, then what's life like for Tucker and Todd? And so it's so profoundly like dour and grim that it resonates and makes this guy just real. And now he's in line to get into the club.
Oh, I like that. We take a long, as we're describing this thing, we take a long beat, staring at each other, and go, "Man, that's a bit too real." No kidding.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's that. Yeah, that's an opportunity for us to back right back out of the sketch to us in the study. We set the notes down and yeah, look at each other kind of blank. Ugh.
That's enough staring into the abyss for now. Let's go check out that party again. And we go down to the party,
And it turns
and
out the abyss is staring back into us.
yeah, yeah. But I'm thinking that either straight detective, or Columbo is talking to some new stranger guy, and because we have described this noisemaker, we came up with him and we've called him by name, but because he's a figment of our imagination, we've never seen him. And so we meet this guy and he calls himself by name, and we're like, wait a second, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm something, and something, blah blah blah. Like
We do we have no conception at all what he looks like, or have we described him a little bit? Enough so not enough to recognize him immediately, but enough that he stands out a little bit from a crowd. Like we did say he started like turning gray and colorless.
right.
Maybe he is gray and colorless, and that's pretty severely, jarring around it, surrounded by all these like club colors.
New question: are we? Is this a possibility? I know. I feel like I had mentioned something in one of the. I'm going to look it up in one of the more recent episodes. But had we Mandela? Is this a good reason to bring in the Mandalorian?
Oh, you mean would this particular bounty hunter go hunting after things that come into being that shouldn't?
Um.
He's here to curb an anomaly.
Well, because how had we specifically phrase that the Mandalorian hunts for forgotten memories? Was that it? Forgotten thoughts,
Well,
misconstrued thoughts,
yeah, he
conflated
he
thoughts.
he hunts for the things that are the Mandela effect.
Right.
So things that are collectively misremembered. This
Is it
guy has never been thought of by anybody but us before.
right?
Although the kind of washout Z-list celebrity is kind of part of the pulse.
Well, I mean, is there a chance that the way that he remembers his past is not the way that we remember the past, or we remember his past? I don't think that that's the way that we said it.
Well, here's the thing is maybe we're so vague with his past that he's not exactly sure where the hell he comes from either. We didn't give him a lot to think about.
Right. Are we trying to help him get back to himself, or are we just being presented with this bizarre anomaly and then
Oh, I think that trying to get him back to anything is a mistake, and the correct course is to actually get him to let go of the past and
oh,
live in
okay.
the here and now.
Right.
So maybe it's an opportunity for Tucker and Todd to do something somewhat nice for somebody and actually like get serious and real for just half a second. Tell this guy that the only time that really exists is the here and now, and that living in the past is only going to interfere with that. And as we give this guy his little pep talk, color starts coming back into him.
I like that.
And then we have one of two choices, because one of the choices is to go the South Park route. If you recall that episode where people started coming back in time to get jobs because the future sucked,
Maybe.
and then one of the proposed solutions was to just have nonstop gay sex so that there is no future. And of course, the alternative solution was to just start solving problems now so that they don't persist into the future. And so people start planting trees and cleaning rivers and eliminating pollution and otherwise switching to green energy and stuff. And you start seeing the future people fade away, but everybody's like, nope, this is stupid. Everybody jump back into the gay sex pile. And so that's one of the options is for our new friend who is starting to become colorful again, to say, no, this is stupid. I'm going to go live in the past some more. And he turns gray again and he leaves, or otherwise just stays stuck in his ways. Or we play it straight and we actually make a new character, because now he's going to be living in this time period in this reality as a full colored person.
Well, so and actually, in order to stretch it out a little bit and put some of the meat in this part, rather than just simply having him gain his color from hearing our pep talk, do we have a little montage of him going out and actually trying to live in the present, and then after putting a whole bunch of effort and maybe like an earnest song over the song montage, he cuts it. There's the record scratch, and he cuts it short,
This
and he's like, "Nope, this sucks."
Nope, this is stupid. Going back to being miserable. Yes, that's the correct way to do it. So basically, fuck this, back into the gay sex pile.
Right, yeah, I like that.
Because that's what they did. They did a montage of just conscientious activities.
Yeah,
So
conscientious
so we
activities. I
can,
can imagine what do they call it? Like not a war anthem, but I can imagine like a Bob Denver song playing over. And
yep,
then all the
we're gonna make the
people
world
gathered
better again.
together to do the best to shine up the earth. And everyone they held their hands and sparkled in gladness, and it was good.
Yep. And of course, it starts having visible, meaningful change. And then they quit anyways. They're like, nope, this is stupid.
Because yeah, it's nice that the change is occurring, but uh subjectively it sucks.
Yeah, this isn't fun. This is lame. Back in the sex pile.
That's good.
So yeah, well, we give him his pep talk. Maybe he gets like a little glimmer of color, maybe just in the eyes or something. We've sowed the seed of hope, and then the scene transitions to him. He leaves the studio. He leaves the unts behind, and he goes out into the world, and he starts, taking command of his life. He goes and gets a new agent. He goes and he gets some interviews, some auditions and stuff. He gets a place. It's not a prestigious show, but it is a show, and he we get to see him walk off the set after a day of like good recording or whatever, and there he is in his trailer staring at probably a framed picture, and he's like, you know what, this is stupid, and then he goes back to being miserable and back in the past, and
Or does
that's
it or do we escalate? He goes and he kills the three guys, and now in this new timeline.
they exist now too.
And we're oh, we this is where we can do another. Our Ernest news guy, Ernest news anchor, is doing a story about the man known as the noisemaker has taken the lives of his, and we're going like, I thought we made all that. We're looking in horror like, dude, something terribly bad is happening.
I like that. That means he's sitting in his trailer and he's staring into this framed picture. And that's when we get like this tense music. We can almost hear a heartbeat playing in the track, and it's getting faster, and the look on his face gets more and more serious until he slams the picture down and he's like, I can't do this. He storms out of his trailer, and then we can see the framed picture is actually of his three amigos. And then I guess the next day we turn on the news and there's our Anderson Coopist.
Yeah.
He's telling us about a triple homicide. And it's in the newspaper on the coffee table nearby, and we're just like, Jesus Christ, I thought we made that up. Yes. So yes, very much like that. I agree.
Yeah, and I like that. And the whole idea of looking at each other in terror and being like, something is like terribly wrong, sets us up
This is bad.
so good for season 2, episode 1, which is all about accidentally bringing monstrosities into life with our imagination.
Yes.
Awesome.
And also, I think, just to frame the entire setting, the studio should be a total mess.
Oh,
The
after the
place
party.
is full of red Solo cups and just
Yeah.
puddles of, I'm not sure what that is, and there are people just like sleeping on the floor. Abe Lincoln has his hat upside down with like a bong sticking out of it. He's just like, everybody's a mess. All these historic figures are still here.
They're all just wasted.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I don't know, maybe that's an opportunity for another Hitler to kind of be like quietly skulking around in the background. Nobody notices.
Oh, he's like taking people's change from their purses and stuff.
Oh, he's stealing their gold.
Scavenging.
Well done, Hitler. You piece of shit. We condemn you and everything that you stand for.
That's what we're about.
Yeah, that's why we have a sign that says no Hitlers. Get the fuck out of our studio already. But anyways, he's sneaking around back there while the camera is panned, to focus on us, where we respond to Anderson Coopist's little news bit, our shock and dismay. Because I suppose we're not quite smart enough to clue into the notion that the stuff we write is coming into being. We probably, after all, we have already encountered the noisemaker. We
That's
probably
that guy.
Yeah, hey, we know that guy. Hey, wait a
That's
minute.
a bad guy.
Yeah, that's a bad. That's not a good guy. Wow. I regret giving him a pep talk.
That's funny. He left a message that specifically like cites the man
This
cites
is all thanks to Tucker.
Tucker. Oh no, dude!
Delete that. Erase that. It's all thanks to you two that I found my calling in life. I've put
we smashed the TV.
Yeah, I finally buried my past alive. Oh God. Does that mean we're the bad guy? No.
Straight detective comes in with her newspaper. Hey, did you guys read this newspaper article about this guy that's... No, we tear it out of our hands. Yeah.
No, and chew it up. Go Tasmanian devil on it.
Yeah.
It shreds. Just in a quiet bit of correspondence between Todd and Tucker. Does this mean we're the bad guys? No.
Oh,
we've hardly killed anybody.
And maybe it was, I don't know. Somebody else came in with that, but that's when, hey guys, I think you should see this. We look out the window, and that's the press is outside the door.
Oh, this place
and we're excited.
This is a mess.
Our numbers are going to go through the roof.
The press is interviewing a passed out former president in the front yard.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, somebody embarrassing to have interviewed is outside with no pants on.
Jimmy, what's his nuts? He's just
Jimmy who?
I can't remember his name. What's his name? Jimmy President.
Jimmy Carter?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter.
Oh yeah, Jimmy, a former president. Better if he's a dead one too.
He's not dead though. I think he's just got a stroke voice.
No, no, I think that's one of the living ones. But of
Yeah.
course, our version is much younger, suspiciously so.
He's there. He's got his Habitat for Humanity costume on.
It's a T-shirt, and that's all he's wearing. He's just out on the front lawn, shirt cocking it. Mr. President.
And like an
Huh?
ironically bad trucker hat, like not necessarily a mega hat, but like in that scope.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm with that. Even if it doesn't say anything on it, just like the shape of a
Like
bad trucker hat is bad
make
enough.
my wife blow me again or something like that.
Any of those like really stupid things that they could say, and they say all kinds of things.
Yeah, woke this. With-
Even better if it's something that was considered dull and tasteless from that era,
oh yeah,
which would make it wildly offensive now.
that's funny. Okay.
So yes, the press is currently trying to interview President Jimmy Carter out on our front lawn. I guess we don't really have a front lawn, but out the front of the studio.
Yeah.
They're picking him out of a garbage bin that's been tipped over.
And so yeah, does it end on us just looking out the front or out the window worrying?
Yeah, probably. I think we can be looking out the window and there's like a, that little music cue, that music cue that just says, "Uh-oh, you guys have done it now."
Oh yeah, that was what it was. Are we worried that everybody's hearing that this is a problem, or are we more excited that like, wow, we're going to be famous?
I think since there are two of us, we can have it both ways.
Oh, of course.
Todd is thoughtful and conscientious, so he is deeply concerned about the ramifications of how we set a murderer on his path and why we have all of these people at this party. I mean, we probably have a bunch of noise complaints and everything. The police are probably outside too. And then Tucker is like, this is gonna be great for our numbers.
Yeah, he whips out his phone. Our Todd Talk numbers are going to be through the roof.
We're already trending. And yeah, there's probably like a news helicopter that has our studio on the TV.
That's our house.
Look, I can see you in the window. Shit, close the blinds.
Oh, Tucker starts rubbing. He does a press ham on the window. Tucker.
Tucker would too. Get a load of this moon.
And I think that's it.
That's probably actually Straight Detective probably closed the blinds on us and pulls us out of there. And then I assume the credits play over what appears to be a news anchor interviewing a bottomless President Jimmy Carter.
I like that. Do we need to tidy up or tie up any loose ends regarding Columbo and Straight Detective? We left them in the outside, and then the next time we saw them, they were in the house in the club. Should we make any reference to that?
Well, the bouncers did discuss opening up the club again. So, like, how much of that process do you want to be implicit, and how much do you want to be explicit? Do you want to actually detail them setting up the stanchions and making a couple of calls and getting everybody invited to the club?
Yeah, I don't know how much of that needs to end up being shown.
Otherwise, the only loose end I really think of is just Columbo finding his way back into the studio through that door that he had a little bit of trouble getting to activate in the first place.
Right.
But I'm comfortable leaving that implicit, at least for now as well. We can always do a callback later.
Oh, maybe. So does the door now work with 100% what's it called? Like dependability?
Do you think it should be consistently functional, or should it be like something with like a bad wire in it where it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, flickers off at unfortunate times?
Oh, actually, maybe it's totally controlled by Columbo. Because I was trying to think of like a cute little post-credit sequence, and it could be Straight Detective doing the three swings on the door, going open and shut, or she maybe no, not saying the lines, but she's swinging the door open, looking at Columbo, going, "How was it that you did that again?" And he says, "Don't even worry about the door. Just look at this." And he just he says, "Open and shut case," and snaps. And they end up in the outside, and he's like, it has nothing to do with the door.
Interesting. But we need it to have something to do with the door.
Yeah, that's true. But I wanted to, yeah.
I do like it being like now that the in the wake of the great big restore, now it needs direct intervention to work. I do like that
Yeah.
because then we can't just like go through willy nilly whenever we like. But I also
Columbo,
like
can
the
you take
idea
us
that
to the
it
time machine?
I also like the idea that it doesn't perfectly consistently work for Columbo either.
Right.
Because that way we can have some holodeck malfunction episodes with it.
Oh, maybe that's actually the to establish that it doesn't perfectly work for him. Because based on this episode, it seems like it does. The post credit sequence is her asking, "Can you show me how you did that?" And he tries to do it, and it doesn't work. It's just a brick wall, and he shrugs. And he's like, "No, I don't know. Some days you got it,
Whatever.
some days you don't." Yeah,
Must be on the fritz.
yeah,
Because it didn't work the very first time he used it.
right.
And then it suspiciously worked when he opened it. Or no, the very first time he used it, it suspiciously did work, but he didn't see
He
it.
didn't notice. Yeah,
And then he closed it, and then he opened it again, and it didn't work. And then it did again, and then he got sucked in.
right. Okay, I like. Okay, I'm good with that. Yeah,
So it is a bit finicky.
because it doesn't work.
And yes, I do think there's that's the opportunity for a post credit scene where we double down on that, and he can't get it to work at all.
Yeah,
It's like, huh?
because I was just lucky.
Yeah, must be finicky. Must not be working today on the fritz. Maybe you should call an electrician.
Jim Carrey shows up.
Oh, I like that.
Because it
That
was
would
a
be the
cable
perfect opportunity. The front door gets kicked in, and there's Larry the cable guy,
guy.
and then that's just like a musical beat, and then the screen goes black
Yeah.
just on his smile. He's not even an electrician, but he's who I would call
Exactly, right? I trust his judgment.
for a weird door. Yeah, I would call Larry the
Yeah,
cable guy.
that is funny. Shit. I had noted in my head what I thought I wanted to call the episode, but now I've forgotten.
Admiral Dad.
I think it was around that. Admiral Dad is good. There was where did we do a pun? Oh,
I
it was
mean,
the
he
open and
was
shut case.
open and shut case. I like that.
Yeah.
We've already done the coldest case. This one might as well be open and shut.
Almost every title in the season is a Columbo reference.
This is his season in a lot
It
of
is, yeah.
ways. I mean, this is the we introduce all of the major characters.
Well, I mean, I think Columbo was the first character that we came up with as a consistent recurring character before Tucker and Todd were characters.
Yeah, actually, Columbo existed before Basil Fawlty did.
Yeah.
Columbo was the first named character that we've ever had in the show. He was in the very first one where the premise was rival brothers. One of them had been murdered, and he
Right.
deliberately botched the investigation.
Right, rival brothers. Wasn't there some weird thing about how they were like uncomfortable touchers or something like that?
I think so, but one of them had an alcohol empire, and one of them had a drug empire.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were both doing substances. But one had murdered the other, and Columbo was covering it up. He was investigating it wrong on purpose.
That's his thing.
That's just one more thing.
Yeah. Well,
Open and shut case.
We only have one more thing to do in this episode.
And that is to say goodnight.
Yeah, it's to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for an open and shut case.
I don't know where to go from there.
I've been your host, Tucker.
And I've been your other host, Todd.
Thank you, Gigi and Craig.
Thank you,
of course,
robots.
the audience. Yes, thank you, robots. Otherwise, Hitler would have gotten in.
Yeah.
Can't stand that guy.
He's the worst.
He's the
All right,
worst. Good night, everybody.